can see it's getting darker and darker, and there's just no way right now for these drivers to know exactly what's going to happen.
These guys are going to have to be really, really careful and tiptoe around the track until it's either not even 10 minutes into this race, and I feel like we've got enough strategy going on for a whole event, but still a long, long way to go.
There's Yellowstone, there's Yosemite, but for racing fans and for Grid Life's Elkhart Classic, the destination is Road America, the National Park of Speed. Free ride in the front of the field here. Look at Emil Tab up the inside for the race lead as we head down to the first corner.
And these guys have no idea what they're coming into. Look at this field. They're 2 wide, 3 wide, a couple places slipping.
Side by side for the race lead, 54, 48 through 3 and 4, working lap number 60, 110 laps to go. Yusuf Ghali, power move to the bottom of the racetrack, making the short way work. They're going to touch down the hill.
This will be a great run for Fuller here.
Yeah, typically we'll ran off the track in the final quarter of that lap 4 to get a massive.
Here he comes.
Does he have a look?
Oh, big block here by Sanfilippo. Into the grass goes Ben Fuller toward turn 1, and Sanfilippo hangs on. He's loose. No! And he crashes hard in the exit of turn number 2. Don't try here, boys. They're going to do it. Briscoe backs out. They touch. They're going to crash. Briscoe going to slam the attenuator hard into the wall, and Sarah Tesson hits him as well. And big damage on these cars. That's a huge hit.
More people are struggling for grip, going out of every single lane, even trying to then run. It's getting really insane.
Powered by AWS for the Intercontinental GT Challenge, powered by Pirelli at the Indianapolis 8-hour. We are 7 hours and 18 minutes into this 8-hour event.
John Miller way deep on the brakes to the inside of turn number 1 and 2. The spin, the 3 car gets turned around in front of the car.
James Houghton looking for a place to go, but he's got Austin Cobb to the inside. A bit of a gap behind. I think that's about 15 or 16 spot as they come out of turn 3. Big slide over this.
Getting a run. He's got it. Going to be a drag racing line. Final corner. Checkered flag waving. Here they come. At Virginia National Raceway. To the line. Thompson, Darling, door to door. Banging doors. Fender to fender. I can't believe what we just saw.
"15 races down the line, it's time to crown a champion. Tonight is the last race of the 2021A Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. It marks the end of the season for the drivers and the end of an era for SYM TV. We'll be stepping back from streaming oval racing for the remainder of 2021. And with a new direction for Fuel, it marks an endpoint for both of us. 117 laps from now, one driver will be celebrating above all others and will be the champion of the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. Kyle Heyer and Connor Horn tonight with you for the last ever race for the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series on SYM TV, at least for 2021. Who knows what the future holds, Connor, but welcome. Our season finale at sort of an unorthodox place, Chicagoland Speedway, Windy City.
Not a place you usually see for a finale. It's definitely one of the best 1.5-mile tracks that was on the NASCAR circuit. Unfortunately, is not in rotation anymore. And I actually saw a video today they're taking seats away from Chicagoland. Sad the way that's happened, but it's still one of the best tracks on iRacing. And we have some grip strips on that top lane, so we might see some really fierce multi-group racing today.
So some new racing that we might see this evening with some changes to the racetrack, but no changes to the series. I was absent last week, Connor, but Thomas Bressi lengthened his championship lead and comes into the night all but secured as the champion. It's a really rare scenario in which he won't be, but Alan Elwood, all he has to do is get max points. Easier said than done for sure, but right now he's quickest in qualifying.
I wouldn't put it past Alan Elwood to get max points. He's done it so many times this season, but the problem is he would need Thomas Bresci to finish 18th or worse and get no bonus points, which is unlikely with only 21 cars in the field. Even Michael Stroll has a chance, but he would need Bresci to finish 21st, dead last, no points, and he would need max points. Very unrealistic scenarios, but we've seen crazier things happen. Bresci just needs to have a solid race, and he will be your champion before the race ends even.
So with 4 minutes and 20 seconds left here in qualifying, Alan Elwood is the quickest driver out there. Brad Slaughter is in second in the number 81 car. Then it's Tom Bourne in the 84, Danny Ware the 19, Tyler Hensley, and a few more that are running really well. Cameron Hearn just jumped to the top of the board. This is a name we haven't seen in a while here, Connor.
He led 99 laps at Rockingham, lost that race to Elwood, who would go on to win obviously almost half the races, if not half the races this season. He had that race at Rockingham won earlier in the season and lost it, and he hasn't raced since, but he's still one of the fastest drivers when he does show up to race in fuel, and he's showing it right now. Another Toyota Supra on the track, and he is flying right now. Put down a 7.61, he'll pull down, maybe try another run.
So Cameron heads down pit lane, and Thomas Bresci, the driver leading the points coming into the night. Connor, there's not a very many scenarios in which Bresci will not win the championship tonight, but again, his goal is just to finish this race and essentially just keep Alan Elwood from leading every single lap and not crashing. It's pretty straightforward for the 24.
If he just finishes top 15 with no bonus points, that's enough. He just has to stay out of trouble and he'll likely be the champion. If Cameron Hearn steals a pole from Elwood, then Elwood would only be able to get 57 max points, and I think that Bresci would need to finish 19th with no bonus points or worse. So it's going to be really, really tough to unseat that 24 from the championship lead. It would need some sort of dramatic crash to happen on lap 10, or if he does that on lap 1, it could definitely get things interesting. Big pile up on the backstretch, but if that happens, there's a chance. But this 24 just needs to stay calm. He'll easily be the champion if he does that.
Calm, cool, collected. Joliet, Illinois, population 150,000 people. One of the newest tracks on the NASCAR schedule, constructed back in 2001. The closest finish in IndyCar history happened here in 2002 with a margin of just over 2 thousandths of a second. So a racetrack that's got a pretty wild history for the time that it's been in existence. It wasn't a popular one, Connor, at least in the NASCAR stuff, until the last couple of years. And since then, it's really gained a lot of popularity, especially for being an abrasive, slippery, and high-action racetrack, especially in the closing moments of the last couple of years. 2018, the Kyle Busch, Kyle Larson finish, one of the greats of all time. So that's it holds a special place in NASCAR history for that reason. And it's actually my local track, about 45 minutes away from me now. I have not been and probably won't get a chance to go, unfortunately, as it's been pulled from the schedules. But it's a racetrack that usually puts on pretty good racing, and with the changes iRacing has made, I expect this to be a pretty solid evening tonight, action-wise.
Always been one of the best multi-groove racing tracks in NASCAR and in iRacing. With the grip strips, that multi-grooved aspect is hopefully back for tonight. Not just the Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch finish. 2019, the year after, Alex Bowman stole the win from Larson. He's called the track killer because he won at Chicagoland. They got rid of that track. He won at Charlotte Oval. They turned it into a roval. Just Alex Bowman things. Also, I think 2006, Jeff Gordon dumped Matt Kenseth here. Also, Kyle Larson, 2014, he had his sort of breakout race where he almost won a chase race as a rookie. There's just so many amazing battles you've seen at this track. You can run the wall, you can run the white line, you can even run the middle. You might see even 4 wide at some point. It's just one of the greatest tracks you'll ever see. A lot of mile and a halves get a lot of stick, but this is one that should definitely be on the schedule.
So qualifying almost complete here. Alan Elwood going back out on the racetrack trying to improve his time. Currently second on the outside of the front row. His goal tonight is to lead every single lap and win the race. There's nothing that will do any better than that. He's just got to go out there and do it. Best lap, a 30.738. He goes straight to the top of the board and takes it away from Cameron Hearn by 24 thousandths of a second. The only driver that can beat it is Brad Slaughter. He's out running right now. Nick Massey could go quicker, so could Tyler Hensley. And it looks like Thomas Bresci's going back out for maybe one final run.
He's far down the order. Once again, he only has to finish. If the 5 gets max points, he needs, I believe, 17th or better, and he easily wins the championship. That's not even factoring in bonus points. So he doesn't even need to be that fast tonight, like we keep saying. A calm, cool, collected race, and he's a champion. Only 13th in the standings, so that will be mid-pack. So it's going to be an interesting start if he can't go faster. I do not think he'll get the line for another run. Bresci won't.
So across the line with 3 seconds remaining, Nick Massey is going to see if he can go any quicker. 30.8. That's not going to be faster for him. We'll see if Thomas Bresci can go quicker. He is on a flyer right now, and he's going to have 35 seconds to complete this lap. Should be plenty of time, but will he start better than 13th? The pace here, at least in single car speed, is not boding well for the 24's night. But again, the goal is not for him to win the race. It's just to finish and not finish last.
I don't know if he got to the line in time, but we'll see if it counts. He started in the back last week and he made his way up to the front fairly easy, so we'll see if he can do the same thing this week at a track that's a bit easier to pass in Martinsville. I think it might have counted. A 31.068 is not going to be an improvement, though.
No, it was not an improvement, so Thomas Bresci will start unofficially in 13th place, so a lot of work to do, that is for sure, as we prepare for our 117-lap race, just over an hour in 10 minutes if everything goes green from flag to flag, and the chances for that are pretty high here, Connor, with 22 drivers. I expect this race to go fairly green, but we're heading into the nighttime, and the nighttime is the right time for things to get a little spicy.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting for sure. We're going to see, we might see that multi-groove go away a little bit because of a night. It could also liven it up a little bit. We got to remember that apron. That apron is huge on the front stretch. We're going to see drivers using that at their own risk, because if you wear the tires out and try to go down there, you could spin yourself. You got to be careful of that. There's so many different ways to pass at Chicagoland. It should be a blast.
So the apron is one thing, but how about the pit entry as well? Green flag pit stops here with the red arrow coming up off the banking. This is one of the trickier racetracks to get to pit lane. We see drivers lock up the right front tire all the time and miss this pit entry. So if we get to green flag racing, that's going to be a challenge. And of course, restarts. Restart zone is essentially from here to about there. And the restarts, you get to build a really big run, and then you have this area on the inside, this apron, as you call it, Connor. And when you come up off the racetrack, we've actually seen a lot of drivers get up into the fence right here as they kind of sweep up off of the apron, preparing for the arc down into turn 1. We've seen people crash here at this racetrack and at Kansas, which is sort of this place's twin, minus the straight back straightaway at Kansas. So a lot of potential for disaster. Let's roll through our starting lineup here on the front row, Connor. It's going to be Alan Elwood, the number 5, and Cameron Hearn in the number 15. He'll start in second.
Two Supers on the front row, then Brad Slaughter Jr. and Nick Massey on the second row, Tyler Hensley, Tom Bourne in row 3, Michael Stroll, who's 7th, I believe, because he didn't get the pole, he's eliminated from championship contention. Danny Ware alongside him in 8th, then Chad Simpson, Pastorius 9th and 10th. 4 chase drivers, 4 Fuel Finals drivers rounding out the top 10.
Braxton Deweese will roll off in 11th alongside Boomer Logan in the 85 in 12th. And Thomas Bressi, championship leader and championship hopeful, starts 13th alongside the 33 of Jonathan Gervin. Casey Lakatos in 15th alongside A.J. Roderick in the number 26. And it's Will Roberts, Finney Takuna, Casey Shue, John Schwartz, Riley Thompson, and Calvin Filarski rounding out the rest of the field. Only a few cars left to grid. I've been noticing, Connor, in practice and qualifying, a couple of drivers kind of blinking and flashing. It's not me, at least I don't think it is. I wonder if that is server or if that's the individual drivers having issues, but that could be a factor, as it always is here in the simulated racing world.
All quality looks good on everyone. Hopefully it's not another Indy issue and we won't have to draw another red flag on the screen, because that was not fun to do at Indy, but it also was funny at the same time. That could definitely come into play if Brussie's power for some reason goes out. That would cause some drama as well and pressure on Elwood for sure, but you know, and netcode's always an issue no matter how good anyone's connection is, so you just never know what can happen.
So Michael Stroll needed to get the pole to be eligible for the championship in any capacity, but he didn't do it, Connor, so he is no longer a factor in the championship, mathematically eliminated.
Yeah, it probably wasn't even coming into tonight actually thinking about having a chance at the championship, but he had a much better chance last season. He was still consistent this season, just not as strong with newcomers like Elwood at the front and old guys like Shane Terrian still at the front, so he's just not going to have a chance at it today. He had a chance last year at Texas. This year he wasn't as close, but he still had a very solid season. He could easily end on a high note. He's been good at Chicagoland in the past.
So about an hour worth of racing from flag to flag here at Chicagoland Speedway. Thanks for watching the final fuel race here on SYM TV. Alan Elwood needs to get every single point possible in this race to win this championship. Here we go. Green flag flies. We're racing the last race for fuel on SYM TV. One lap down. Alan Elwood is the leader as they come across the line. Cameron Hearn in second in the number 15. That's Brad Slaughter in third. A little bit of shuffling going on behind him. And there on the outside is Tom Bourne. Michael Stroll on the inside now. Tyler Hensley following in the upper groove in the 44 car. Clean start. And Bressi is up 2 spots on the outside, hiding in that Exalta 24.
Looking good so far. Actually, there is a bunch of people blinking. You weren't wrong about that. It's still happening. Elwood's one of those guys blinking, and he's still very fast, but that 15 of Cameron Hearn looks faster.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think there's something up with the server here. This is abnormal. Again, I'm on a fiber connection here in Chicago, so it's usually not me when things go awry. I'm also not a Spectrum or Xfinity customer, which is where the issues were a couple months ago at the Indianapolis race. I'm on AT&T here, so usually it's not me. So I'm curious to see how this will play out and if this will be a factor in tonight's race, especially if we start getting some drops.
That would be a big issue if one of the championship competitors went out because of an internet drop for some reason. But so far, so good. No lagouts yet. Calvin Filarski, one of the admins, left the server. So if he is only 20 drivers left already, as we're seeing Cameron Hearn looks faster than Alan Elwood, but he hasn't challenged for the lead. Not sure if they're teammates, but he could just be playing for a gunner.
Hearn with a pretty decent run at the exit of turn 2. Elwood, as you mentioned, Dropping off the timing and scoring for a second. There on the bottom of the racetrack is Brad Slaughter Jr. in the number 81, and he has had some strong starts in this series, but the finishes haven't always gone along with it. I'm sure he would die for a race win here towards the end of the season. Right now, side by side with Tom Bourne in the 84, who's on the high side.
He's had a lot of good qualifying efforts ever since Richmond. He hasn't been able to get the finishes that he probably deserved, but he's had really good short run pace so far this season. As look at the run Tom Bourne got, he's going to go for a second. No, never mind, he's going to stay behind Cameron Hearn, but that 81's been fast in qualifying, just hasn't been able to piece together a full race. Maybe he can do that at the end of the season on a high note.
For the 44, Hensley going all the way to the upper groove. This track has been one of the ones that was edited to include some grip strips, as iRacing had been sort of calling them, Connor, and this is sort of to emulate the variable grip level that's here in the real world. I guess jury's still out on whether or not this is super effective. We have seen it change some racetracks fairly significantly. Curious to see how it'll transition to Chicago, especially at night.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's not dynamic by any means, but it's definitely something to hold us over until they figure out that situation. It's made for fun racing. Auto Club's definitely fixed. Kansas is a bit different, more bottom lane heavy now. We'll see what happens if Chicagoland is perfectly balanced. Maybe the bottom's so dominant, maybe the top will be too easy. It might be difficult to pass if that top lane's coming into play, but we just don't know yet. We haven't seen too many people venture too high, but there are drivers on the top.
And the field's still very close together at the moment, 7 laps into this race, and we haven't really seen much in the way of separation. The entire field still within about 8 or 9, or well, 3 seconds if you don't include Nick Massey in the 20, who's fallen way down the order, about 9 seconds back from the field. So very tight, and this makes me nervous, especially with the issues that we're seeing with the server here, Connor. That could transition into disaster very quickly.
Yeah, we have a bunch of people. I haven't seen this since Indy, really. This is some sort of problem with iRacing and the whoever the internet provider is, I would assume. I think Nick Massey, he's 9 seconds back. He had a slide out of turn 2 on the opening lap. He might just be hard saving the tires because they do only have 3 extra sets to work with, so maybe he's just trying to save a set. I've seen that happen before. Sometimes it can work.
To the bottom of the racetrack, Alan Elwood sticking down there again. He needs to get max points, and if he does that, the 24 need to finish 17th or better, but based on pace, the 24 didn't look all that great in qualifying, but now moving forward in the race up to 9th.
Yeah, if he gets halfway points of any sort, that would put a big damper into Elwood's race, and it would probably be game over if he did get good halfway points. But Elwood, there's nothing else he can do. He was out of Martinsville before the green flag even dropped, and there's nothing else he can do about that. You just got to focus on this race and get max points. He's done it probably multiple times this season, getting maximum points, and there's no reason he can't do it again.
And Shane Terrian absent tonight, couldn't make this race and essentially forfeited the shot at a championship in the process, which is really unfortunate. So again, the reigning champion will not get a chance to go for 2. But real life sometimes gets in the way. I myself have to pretty much pack up and get the heck out of here as soon as this race is over. I got to head up to Gingerman for a Grid Life event tomorrow. So I'm leaving basically right after this race goes checkered to drive 2.5 hours to the northeast and drive out to South Haven, Michigan. So everyone's got real life getting in the way of the sim racing stuff, especially when the weather gets nicer. As you see, second place now a battle, Bourne through Cameron Hearn, and Michael Stroll again eliminated from the championship, but still fighting for points. And right behind those 3 supers out front.
We were talking about Terrian, and he was only 20 points back coming in tonight. If he raced, he would have had a really good shot. If he got max points and Bresci didn't perform as well, he would have had a really good shot at stealing a championship. It's been such an up and down chase from the opener at Dover with Elwood's incidents to then I think it was Terrian at Vegas. It's just so many things have gone wrong for so many drivers, but in the thick of things, Thomas Bresci's been the one to stay consistent, and he might finally wrap up this championship.
So Hearn trying to get back by Bourne on the bottom. 12 laps in, and no signs of any carnage so far. Nicely organized line of drivers from first all the way back to 20th. Still, field pretty much covered by about 5 seconds. Very tight ordering right now. Getting into the middle portion of this race. This is probably going to be a 2-stopper, Connor, wouldn't you think? Or do you think they'll try to make it a 1?
Halfway points should be given out lap 59. It'd be close. The fuel might make it that long, but I don't know if you want to stretch it that far on tires. Chicagoland can eat up your tires in a hurry, especially if you're not saving them and just wrapping that white line. I'm not sure if the right front can really last that long, so I think a 2-stop pace-wise would be smarter.
You can already see that Tom Bourne is down a full second from his best lap of the race. That's pretty much true all the way down the order. So tires getting eaten alive already. Battle for second again. The 15 dives the inside. 44 Hensley going for maybe a bit of a block on Slaughter and trying to go the short way around on the front stretch.
Not sure if Cameron Hearn and Tom Bourne are teammates to the 15, but I feel like all supers got to stick together, even though they probably take up half the series. As Hearn clears for second, Tom Bourne's going to stay in third, but Michael Stroll pops out for fourth. He's actually going to go to, now he goes to the bottom, but everyone's getting really stacked up behind these supers. I'm wondering if they're playing rear gunner, sort of playing that Valtteri Bottas role for Alan Elwood here.
Looking like it right now. Contact. The 84 is hard on the fence. He's going to get tagged by the 44 right in front of the points leader. And the 84 goes into the fence. Do we stay green? It looks like we will. That was almost huge. Thomas Bressi was right in the middle of all that.
Yeah, that could have been a very big point in the championship. Looked like Tom Bourne just got too high out of turn 4. Just hit the wall too hard. Comes down into Hensley. Nowhere for the 44 to go, but they all saved it.
Riding on board with the number 24 of Thomas Bressi. This is his view of all of that.
Sure, he doesn't like seeing this view. That's his teammate as well. His teammate could have very well taken him out. Tom Ford. Luckily, the seas parted for him there.
So we will continue under green flag conditions. The threat of caution, at least elapsed for now. And the 42 of Chad Simpson feeling some pressure from the 50 of Casey Lakatos, who always seems to get hot towards the tail end of any season. Think back to the end of last year's fuel season, Connor. Took it to victory lane.
Won that absolute thriller at Texas. We'll see if he can pull off something similar this season. Chicago, another track like Texas, where you want to save that right front as much as possible. He was able to master that at Texas. If he can do what he did last year, this time at Chicagoland, he can definitely have a chance to have another upset victory on his hands.
Also the 42 of Chad Simpson, I think he's running a slightly different livery tonight with an altered colored blue. That's looking a bit more metallic and shiny than it typically does, and must I say that that is a really handsome shade of blue on that car.
Definitely looks different compared to what he usually runs. Looking really mighty fine on that Super right now.
Look at the air temp, 77 and 80 for the track temp. It's not particularly hot. It does have the opportunity to cool off a little bit towards the end of the night, but it's not going to transition majorly. Mostly it's going to be the rubber going down that's going to change how the track is handling. Here's Braxton DeWeese in the number 1. 11th tonight, a slow climb forward, but a climb nonetheless.
One of the bigger climbers, Danny Ware's up 3 spots from where he started. Stroll's up 4 spots. Pistorius also 3 spots. Vinny DeCuna, he started 18th. He didn't put the best of laps down. He's 18th all the way to 11th. Riley Thompson, 21st and 12th, so 9 spots is probably the biggest mover. A lot of the guys coming from the back right up to the front.
A lot of movements here on the straightaways. To see DeWeese slide up behind Simpson. He's definitely keeping the pressure on the 42, now going up even higher. Starting to see some drivers maybe experiment with the upper grooves and carrying a bit more speed up there, and Braxton DeWeese putting it to good use right now.
Saw AJ Roger, Casey Shue, Will Roberts also running it back there in about 19th as DeWeese is going to get a run into turn 3. He'll go for the move on the inside, kind of missed the bottom. Got to be careful in 3 and 4. Don't think he's going to complete the pass. Those bumps in 3 and 4 on the bottom line are gnarly. You got to be careful. If you hit them the wrong way, you're going to just turn someone if you're on the inside.
Out front, Elwood still leads, but the gap is slowly coming down. Cameron Hearn a couple hundredths quicker last time by. Difference is 0.2 of a second between the two race leaders.
Yeah, I think I've said it since the drop of the green flag. I think this 15's looked faster all race long. He just hasn't felt the need to complete that pass just yet. He was able to defend on the 84 and the 44 before their incident. Michael Stroll's kind of fallen off a little bit. These 3 cars trying to break away from the rest of the pack as Brad Slaughter Jr. tries to keep Danny Ware behind him.
Hearn under attack now from Michael Stroll, who goes to the bottom of the racetrack. Stroll rolling the inside, but can't carry enough speed or momentum to do anything with that number 15 for now.
Stroll wasn't that far. He wasn't that close to him out of turn 4. I think Hearn had a moment, had to lift out of the gas last time at turn 4. Stroll almost took advantage, but still going to stay behind the 15 for now.
So 21 laps complete here of 117, and so far so clean. As Braxton DeWeese completes his pass on the 42, moves up into 8th. Now sets sights on the number 9 of Hayden Pistorius, the TDR Chevrolet Camaro.
The more we watch these guys, 20 laps into this run already, we're seeing pretty much everyone migrate off of that white line. The majority of the drivers are running sort of that bottom seam, not really getting to the very white line. Elwood's kind of running a bit higher than it. Then you got guys like Finian in the back, and also Hayden Pastorius is way on the top line.
Whoa, trouble, turn one, big crash. That's the 26, or excuse me, the 33 of Gervin, and no, it is the 26 of Roderick that's turned around. And he got hooked hard into the fence. That was a big crash.
Big damage to both those cars. Looks like the 26 got the worst of it here.
Here's a look at it. There's the 4 of Casey Shu on the outside.
Here comes Gervin.
Oh, Gervin in the 33, and then I think does the 26 try to slide. Oh, the 33 comes down and turns him straight head on into the outside wall.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a lot you could say about that, but one of them that comes to mind is kind of uncalled for.
Oh.
Gervin, I can't. It sort of looks like. Remember that Joey Logano crash with Danica and Almirola at Kansas? It looks like that, but nothing broke on that 33. He turned left.
Just turned left. You're right. It's he's still in view. It wasn't like he was in a blind spot of any sort. But
No.
It didn't look like he actively had turned that hard to the left based on the steering wheel input, but certainly a big mistake on Gervin's part.
When you wear the tires out on these Xfinity cars at a worn-out track like Chicagoland, the tri-oval can be treacherous. I can't imagine. I don't see a reason he would do that intentionally. What I could think of is that the tires, you can wear them out so much where you're kind of squirrely in and out of a tri-oval, and he might have just tried turning too much and he just lost traction. I can't imagine he'd wreck them on purpose, so that's the best thing I could come up with, but you just never know. It just did not look good, that's for sure.
No, it didn't. Cars on pit lane now for the first time tonight. Tires and fuel, I'm sure for everyone, a good opportunity to get yourself reset. And the 50 car will roll on through, and he will pick himself up a point.
Chad Simpson stayed out, so maybe not.
So cars rolling off now, and looks like for most everybody a 4-tire stop. And yeah, 4 tires and fuel for everybody on pit lane.
Chad Simpson did leave that last lap, so maybe he'll pit and Lakatos will try to get a lap led. I don't think there's many spots swapping around. Elwood, Hearn, Stroll, Ware. Resti got up to 5th because I think Brad Slaughter missed his stall, so there's one move. Pretty much everyone stayed the same, though.
Not a lot of shuffling there in the early moments. Everyone's sort of, no one's got any damage to repair or anything, so all the stop times end up being pretty close to the same. So one caution to start the night. We had pretty clean racing otherwise. How does this change the strategy if we were to go green to the end from here?
Well, we have, it might, I would think, 25 laps in, it would only be about 90 laps to the end, I would assume. I think at this point it's a 1-stop from here. You're definitely not a 2-stop anymore. 45 or so laps each of the runs, and you have 2 tire sets left at this point, so I would say it doesn't change it too much. You just have one less stop under green if it goes green to the end.
So the 50, Casey Lakatos picks up a lap led. Thomas Bressi notably up to 6th, and he will cycle to 5th as you mentioned once Casey Lakatos comes down pit lane. Which this is a good start to the night for Thomas Bressi. Again, the goal is a little different than it otherwise would be. You know, typically you'd expect to just go out and win the race, but not necessary tonight for the 24. Just go out there and have a top 10 run. That'll do it.
He said last week in his interview he probably won't be. He'll probably just be finishing second to Elwood because that's just the dominance Elwood has had on either short tracks or mile and a half. It's just how the 5 has operated all season long, but he hasn't shown. He definitely hasn't shown race-winning pace. Really, only Elwood has so far, but he hasn't shown pace to really compete in the top 5 yet. But he has made up a lot of ground from where he started, and he was looking really fast as the run went on. So he could easily get up there and maybe challenge for the lead soon enough.
So 25 laps complete. Casey Lakatos peels off down to pit lane to get himself some tires and fuel. Everyone else is going to re-rack, restack, and go for green. Inside or outside, it looks like the 5 car is going to choose the obvious option and go for the inside lane. And do we think that the inside lane is just going to be better on the restarts, or do you think it might be better several laps after the restarts and it only migrates to the top on old tires?
It looked like it took about 15 laps for people to start migrating to the middle, so I'd say you'd want to be on the bottom on fresh tires. It didn't look like there was much speed to be gained on the wall, anyone running the wall early on in a run, but we didn't really see many people running the wall early on in a run unless the lights are starting to come on. The sun's going down, so the track might cool down. So anything's possible. It's looking like it's likely going to be you want to be on the bottom for a restart.
So all 20 drivers that started this race are still running, and Calvin Filarski, who didn't start this race, is also running as well. So now we have 21 drivers on the timing and scoring.
And Filarski, 24 laps down, no damage, while AJ Roderick's still on pit road with damage. We'll see if he just bows out of the race. Tom Boren, his damage from his incident out of turn 4. Gervin stays on track, and I believe that's everyone.
So lap 28 will be the restart here. We'll be silent for a few laps. A little bit of an old throwback to the SYM TV sound surge. Here we go. Oh, trouble.
Oh, trouble.
Crash. Turns 3 and 4.
Oh.
Danny
Boomer
Ware's
Logan.
in it. The 85 of Boomer Logan is in it. That's a big crash.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere. Ware spun, then saved it, then spun again, and Boomer Logan had nowhere to go. That might have been around. That might have been. If that wasn't around Bress, he was right behind him.
Right behind him, it looks like. There's the replay of the 19 entering turn 3. Was there maybe a touch from behind the 56 of Riley Thompson? Oh yeah. Had some help.
Almost saved it. Comes back down the track. Poor Boomer Logan, nowhere to go. Hits really hard. Gervin slides through the grass. That, once again, didn't look as bad as the other one, but once again, kind of just a big mistake there. But I think that was Riley Thompson.
Yes, Riley Thompson. Oh, man, that 85 took a huge impact.
Wow.
The 3, Will Roberts, almost got torn up in it as well.
And Tyler Hensley, the 3 and the 44 did a great job, and they were right behind Boomer Logan.
Watch this as 85 tries to turn down the racetrack to miss it and just gets tagged right in the right rear corner. Gets turned up, and you're just along for the ride at this point, and slam into the wall. Back across the racetrack in front of the 44. Nice avoidance there, and the 3 car as well just squeezes by. We got to ride on board with both those drivers. Let's have a look.
Definitely going to be a race ender for Boomer Logan. I think the engine just immediately expired out of nowhere there. Sees a spin. They all see Danny Ware save it. Honestly, Will Roberts can't even see. Then Ware comes down the racetrack, and then here comes Boomer Logan. Just got to slam on the brakes and just hope you miss him, and he did.
And for the 44, Tyler Hensley, a similar story. Wow.
Woo! Same exact thing, just higher on the racetrack. Gervin went to the grass to avoid it. He did a very nice job as well.
So second caution out right at the restart there at Chicagoland Speedway. 30 laps into our 117-lap race. And it's Elwood, Stroll, Bressy, Hearn, Slaughter Jr., your top 5.
AJ Roderick retires from the race. Filarski's 24 down. Boomer Logan's likely retiring from the race. So that'll likely only leave 18 drivers on the lead lap. The more retirements happen, the more likely it gets that Bressy locks this thing up.
Caution right after a yellow. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with a restart here for the Fuel finale at Chicagoland.
How do you build an empire? You don't start with glass and steel and concrete. You start with a single brick. Laid side by side together, they become something much bigger. These bricks are a part of history. The people who set them into the earth were building more than just a racetrack. They were building a legacy. They were building memories. dreams. As decades passed, a kingdom rose around this 2.5-mile ribbon of asphalt. It became an international icon. Lives were made here, and lives were lost here, in a pursuit of eternal glory. No one has to say why this place is special. It just is. And though over the years the pavement between these walls has been paved time and time again, there is still a stretch of bricks by the finish line to remind us all that great things come from humble beginnings.
Green flag back in the air at Chicagoland after our second caution of the night. Alan Elwood and Michael Stroll lead the field down lap 33 of 117. Off into turn one here, Connor. Wild restart last time. Look at Bresci up to second.
And that's exactly not what Alan Elwood wants to see. He knows if that 24 is directly behind him, there's no hope for him to win this championship, but that's not going to stop him from trying to dominate and win this race. Bresci, he's obviously fixed the long run speed this year, but he still has the short run speed he's always had. He's looking very sharp as he gets by Cameron Hearn on the restart.
Out of turn four, the 15 right in the rear bumper. Wow, big block by the 81 right in front of DeWeese, who moves drivers right. Almost gets into Thompson. The two TDR cars line astern on the outside into turn one.
That's how valuable that bottom is on a restart. Slaughter Jr. went all the way to the grass to block that spot as here comes the 15 Hearn, a big run on the outside. Gets back to the second position. He wants to lead.
Cameron Hearn side by side with Alan Elwood into turn three. He takes the lead away, drives in deep and hard. Can he hang on to it? Big lift on a turn four. Here comes the five. Bye-bye, Cameron Hearn. The five car's going to drive right back by.
And so is Bresci and maybe even Michael Stroll, as there's still blocking happening in the tri-oval. That's Stroll trying to block Brad Slaughter. He chops the 81's nose into turn number one as the 15 tries to regain that time, pushing hard in that middle line. He's back to the outside of the five.
Yeah, which line do you go with if you're Thomas Bresci? I think he feels like the outside's the place to be. Now he's stuck there with the five to the inside lane. Championship battle is hot and heated. Side by side for second place. Those are the two that have the chance to win the title, the 24 and 5.
Yeah, the best thing Bresci can do is get out of a line of the five. Just go with the line. If he's not in, try to pass him. If you're in front of him, you know you've got this thing locked up if you stay there. I think the five's probably trying to save tires, but the 24 wants the track position. He's going to get it.
Cameron Hearn leads the way. The five slots into third. Brad Slaughter still out of line on the bottom of the racetrack. The 8 car goes down underneath the 5 into turn 3. Now it's a drag race for third place.
Blinks out again. Got to be careful of that if you're trying to pass him, as the 8's going to complete a bit of a slide job. He gets to that, I believe that's the third position. He'll try to block the 5 to the outside as the 81 still blocking the Weiss. 5 gets on his bumper into turn number 1, but they stay clean.
Getting dramatic. Lots of theatrics happening in the mid-pack right now. Braxton Weiss up to 7th. The 9 of Hayden Pistorius up to 8th. And now Riley Thompson and Brad Slaughter battling for about 5th spot right now.
A lot of guys hit the apron in the turn number 4 there. Thompson almost walls it. DeWeese almost followed him. I know it's not a big spot for Elwood early on in this race, but not something we usually see from him. We don't see him drop through the order on a short run a lot of the time. He's about to get passed for that 4th position by Riley Thompson. Not something we're accustomed to seeing from him.
Certainly not. Here comes the 8 on the 24, and the 56 is moving forward as well. He's won a couple races this season and isn't directly in championship contention, but here he comes on the outside, 3 wide for a moment. Then the 8 car cleared the 24. Now it's just double wide for third place.
We're seeing more and more people go up to that middle lane. It looks like the middle is the place to be to pass. The bottom, a bit too difficult to pass if you're getting pinched down, but that middle looks very fast right now with Stroll. He was able to make the bottom work. I think Bressi kind of gave it to him, but look at Bressi struggle on that bottom. He's going to let Riley Thompson go on through.
Bressi slots into line now. Here's the one at Deweese on the inside of Slaughter. But Brad throttles back up in the Lumar 81, and right around the outside he will run, and the 9 car is going to try to squeeze up there and follow him through.
Pistorius top 10, trying to get to the top 5. A strong run for that 9 so far in a season that he has really struggled. That middle line, once again, working wonders. Braxton Deweese in that line is kind of an odd man out, getting pinched to the bottom and nowhere to go.
Whoa, 24 and 5, bit of a cheeky block at the exit at turn 4. They both just fell behind the 8 and the 56. Now Elwood back to the bottom of the 24. This is for 4th place now.
It looked like Bressi was really pushing for the track position, but once he saw Cameron Hearn get the lead, it almost looked like, okay, I might as well just save my tires. I'm not getting the lead. He's dropped back to the, I believe, 4th position. I think right now he's just trying to hold off his championship competitive.
Elwood's rolling the center so much better than the 24 right now. Look at the momentum he carries. That's going to take the run to the inside lane down the backstretch. And Bressi's not going to be able to do much about this except try to throttle back up. But the 56 grinding down the wall in front of him is keeping him at bay.
56 going to hold him up in the center of the corner. Bressi actually a bit better through the center than the 56.
Oh, no!
He's going to door the 5 almost into the grass. 5's going to be able to save it. He's going to turn Bressi.
Oh, Bressi, big slide. He saves it that time. The 2 championship leaders come together, and somehow they don't crash, and that is a sign that those are the best drivers in the business, man. That was a crash 3 times over.
I can't blame the 5 for doing that. I wouldn't have been happy with that either. It just looked like Bressi saw a hole, went for it. The 5 was there, and then the 5 kind of was upset about that, trying to regather it, just kind of got into a 24. I don't know how Bressi saved that either, but they stay side by side, and the right front of that 5 doesn't look completely terrible.
No, I think they're actually okay. It was a pretty hard hit, but they didn't seem to suffer much damage from it. Let's go back and have a look at how that started. We'll go back a little farther than this. Actually, at the exit of turn 4. Watch the 24. He's going to get to the inside of the 56. Right here, sees the gap, kind of door slams the 5, and then Elwood, wiggling and wobbling, chases it back up onto the racetrack, tags the 24. That's so a crash. I cannot believe that they saved that.
Part of Elwood's internet trouble could be the savior for Bressi here. As Brad Slaughter Jr. is going to go to the inside of Elwood. That right front damage, it doesn't look bad, but it will affect your handling. You will get way tighter with right front damage like that, so we'll see if Elwood can recover from that. Bressi definitely got away with one.
Certainly did. Again, the only thing he has to not do tonight is crash. He almost did just that. Thompson, the 56, under attack right now. And the 81 of Brad Slaughter Jr. tentatively throwing his hat in the ring here.
Elwood's able to hold him off on the top line. Just a bit too hard to pass on the bottom. We'll see if Elwood tries to pass on the bottom again. He will go to the inside of Bressi. Bresci's got to be careful. He's got to give him room because he could easily just turn him as he's going to get so close to that left rear again.
And for the lead, Michael Stroll has caught Cameron Hearn. About a 1/10 of a second between those two as the rest battle for scraps.
For 3rd place got heated up. Riley Thompson's not the 3rd best car right now, but because of the incident with the 24 and the 5, he's been able to keep it. And these top 2 have been able to run away. Cameron Hearn's been fast all night. Michael Stroll's showing some muscle here in the season finale.
Braxton Deweese, door-to-door right now with, I believe that's Casey Shue. No, that's the 9 of Hayden Pistorius, rather. Shue's just behind, battling Finian DeCuna, who cracks the top 10 for the first time tonight.
Pistorius slide job on the 1 of Deweese. Deweese goes to the bottom. Finian's the one person I've seen really getting the closest to the wall, but he's going to go to a bottom and try to complete the pass on the Casey Shue. That is for 9th. He's going to get it. Ooh, Riley Thompson's really struggling out of turn 4. Bressi's going to go for the spot.
Alan Elwood pushing the 56. Maybe might believe that outside is the place to be. Pushes him into the fence in turn 1. And Riley Thompson's stuck up there now.
He's going to get glued to it. He's going to lose a ton of spots. He's going to be, I believe, back to 8th or so as he's going to fall to the clutches of Finian DeCuna. Can't imagine he's happy about that. Looked like Elwood just kind of shoved him in there.
No, he's pulling off. I think that might be the end of his night. He knows that car is killed. He hit the wall pretty hard and for pretty long. So going to hit pit lane now at lap 47. Back to the 3rd place battle, though. The 2 championship contenders. They're throwing hands and elbows right now.
Braxton DeWeese has made up a bunch of time. He is flying on that top lane. He's up to the 5th position now, and I think he's much faster than these two right now. It's because of their damage. Look at the run he gets off the turn 2.
So how many more cars need to retire for the 24 to clinch this, Connor? Are we getting close?
I think we're getting close. Filarski's still running 23 down, but it's like if Bresci wrecked out, he'd probably go behind him. So I think officially we still need 2 more other than Riley Thompson. It looks like Thompson's done. So just for example, Gervin and Roberts 16th and 17th. If they retired, I think Bresci would be the champion.
Closing in on lap number 50. Halfway points happening, what, around lap number 58 or
59.
something like that? 59. So we're within 10 laps of that happening. And once Bresci claims some top 10 halfway points, Connor, that's pretty much going to seal the deal too, wouldn't it?
I think it would. This would be, if he stays 3rd, that's 8 bonus points. And I don't think, like, if he gets like 3 bonus points, he'd then have to finish 20th. It would even still be over. If he finishes 3rd here, I think it will be game over for Alan Elwood. As DeWeese kind of slide jobs him into the corner. The internet's really struggling. That's kind of costing him as well. Yeah, no one knows where he is.
It's a big distraction for not only him, but everybody else around him. You have to wonder how much of a netcode bubble is there around that number 5 car at the moment. Probably significant. But Bresci all free and clear of him in 3rd. Now back up to the race lead. Hearn and Stroll working together pretty nicely right now. Pulling away 2.5 seconds up in the next group.
I said this when it happened. I think Elwood's internet kind of saved Bresci. If it was just a normal car-to-car contact, I think he would have spun, but it was almost like the 5 just bounced off the 24's left rear, so he definitely dodged a bullet. 24 dodged a bullet there. Elwood probably wished his car was completely solid. I think it would have worked a lot better. Really? Casey Shue.
Whoa,
yep.
Big slide in turn 3. Gathers it back up. How did this start?
They were battling really hard for about the 9th position. 42. Ooh. Chad Simpson missed the bottom, and there was nowhere for Shue to go trying to pinch him.
Yeah, he got into the fence, but gathered it back up. Nicely done, by the way.
Not much damage. Not much damage to Shue's car either. Looks okay. Not much damage being done to these cars as the lead, Battlefield lead, like you said, is heating up. 8's been on his bumper for so long now, but he just can't find a way around.
A couple other battles deeper in the field. There's the 42 of Chad Simpson, Casey Lakatos, and Tyler Hensley. This is all for 10th.
Almost 3 wide. Hensley still looking strong, even though he's, I believe, had a bout with the wall as well. Lakatos looking strong on the top lane. In front of them, Vinny DeCuna battling Nick Massey, who was at the back for a long time, finally trying to get to the front. Is Finian still trying to run that top line as Nick Massey looks for the white line?
Oh, Bresci losing a spot to DeWeese. The 1 car moves into 3rd.
Been steady. He's been steadily climbing. I don't think he restarted on around the 4th row or so. He was at least back there on this run, but he's made a serious time up to the top 3. Still has a long way to go to the top 2. He's looked fast.
Bresci lifted there on the back of the 1. I think he had the opportunity to kind of cross him up and get to the inside or outside, but chose not to. I don't think the risk is going to pay off with much reward at the moment, at least not at lap 54. So maybe a smart move there by the 24 to back out, think better of it. Slaughter Elwood Pistorius run a 3-horse race from 5th to 7th.
Bresci's objective is to have a clean race and not wreck. I think he's already almost there. He's half wrecked. I think his only objective now is stay away from Alan Elwood because he probably didn't make him too happy with that move on in the tri-oval.
Well, you don't need to make friends tonight. You just need to get to the end, and as long as they'll beat you up after the race, that's okay. If they'll beat you up on the racetrack, there's where your problem lies.
Yeah, if he gives you a black eye, it's all right. You're still the champion.
Might not look so great in the championship photographs, but
I think that makes it better. I would think that would make it insanely better. It's just great. You have 2 prizes, 2 trophies.
Yeah, a couple-month break, I believe, for the Fuel Series. They'll return. Some announcements related to this series coming up the next couple of days. So keep an eye on the Fuel Twitter for those. And as we mentioned, we will not be a part of those plans, at least for the rest of 2021, as we're taking a step back from streaming to sort of enjoy life in a different way. We're kind of stepping up back from the simulator. Only shows remaining on SYM TV for the rest of 2021 will be the DC Region SCCA for 2 more weeks. And then it will just be the finishing of the seasons for the Indy Elite Series and the Outsider Racing League, both of which end in the next few months, but that will be it. The most streams we'll be doing weekly will be 2 for the next, the rest of the year.
definitely some change up for sure. Sorry, I got distracted a little bit. It looked like my control hit the wall. The right rear's a bit crinkled. He's definitely trying hard to get this lead from Hearn, but it's just, he hasn't found a way yet. That right rear around the wheel definitely looks a bit damaged.
Yeah, oh, just a little bit. Yeah, he's might have just tagged it a touch. Not sure how much that'll affect you, but that right rear is a pretty important area on the race car. So even the slightest bit of damage could be affecting the downforce level of this car.
Yeah, if you hit the right rear on the wall, this just means you're getting the maximum out of it and you're doing a good job. If you hit the right front on the wall, that means you should definitely back it down.
It's about a half hour of racing remaining as we come to lap 59 here, Connor, paying out halfway points. This is looking pretty good for the 24.
Yeah, I've been wrong on points before. I've spoken too soon in other times, but 1 lap to go before the halfway points are given out. I'd say we're 1 lap away from crowning a champion.
Yeah, of course, as always here on SYM TV, we don't like to give out official championship results until we either get them from the people that are computing them from the series itself or after the race. So while we can speculate that this result here at the halfway point will give Bressie the championship, we cannot confirm it or deny it until the checkered flag flies later tonight.
Riley Thompson, side note, he said he had a migraine, so that's why he pulled off. So it looked like the 5 hit him, but he said he wasn't seeing straight. So
yeah,
migraines are not fun.
You know what's funny about that is actually today at work I had a migraine, which I don't normally get. And I got what I Googled and found out was actually called kaleidoscope vision or something like that, or a migraine with aura. And basically it's when one or both your eyes is sort of swirling like you're looking through a kaleidoscope, and it really is distracting and annoying. And I wonder if Riley has a very similar symptom. And it went away for me after about 25 minutes, but really distracting and irritating, and I couldn't read or see very well, and depth perception was hard. That was a weird thing I had going on today, and it would be strangely ironic if Riley had the same.
Yeah, I've never had a migraine in my life, so I'm lucky. I'm definitely lucky. I don't know how it feels.
I don't normally get them. I mean, I get headaches, but that's what I had today was really weird. Look at this. Alan Elwood slotting into 7th and not being very happy about it, right behind the 9 of Hayden Pistorius on the bumper.
Yeah, I can't imagine he's happy. I think he knows. He probably has a good idea that with those halfway points, it's almost just about over for him, but he's still probably more upset about the damage from the 24. He had a fast car, fell back, which is not something we're accustomed to seeing from him on a short run, but he can't be too happy right now.
I'm sure he's been in a better mindset and in a better race car right now, moving the wrong direction. As we are about 37 laps into this run, and with just under 60 laps to go, I think you're probably going to go about 10 to 15 more laps and then start thinking about pit stop, right? Does that sound like the plan?
I would think that's the plan. You're not going to go too much farther. I think the last yellow was around, what, lap 35? So you probably want to go to around lap 70 to 75, I would say. So maybe 10, 15 more laps before these guys even think about hitting pit lane.
That would pretty much split this last run into 2 segments. So the 3 retirees, or make that, well, I should say yes. So Riley Thompson is out and done for the day. Boomer Logan in the 85 with crash damage, and same with the 26 of A.J. Roderick. He is also done for the night. Closest battle on the racetrack right now, the 9 of Hayden Pistorius and the 20 of Nick Massey. This is for 6th.
Massey, I think he was trying to play a tire strategy at the beginning, but I don't think it's going to work for him, so he's finally making his way up to the front. So he's definitely been one of the faster cars on track. He ran a 7.81 last time, by a full 10th faster than the leader, so he is definitely on the move right now.
Brad Slaughter chasing down Thomas Bressie. This is a battle for 3rd. And Slaughter's having a pretty solid run tonight. Again, we talked about how his qualifying typically put him higher up in the standings than he would normally finish a race, but tonight, running where he really probably belongs, as we got that scrap for 5th place now, getting pretty aggressive.
As he's making his move, he saved the tires and he's going for it now. It's kind of fun to watch. He's really motoring on the top line. No one else is really on the top anymore, but he's making the passes up there. I think he just got 2 for 1. That should put him 5th. And the next guy on the list is Brad Slaughter Jr. I didn't even know he slotted into 4th. That 81 is looking sharp.
Certainly is. We just mentioned him a moment ago, and yeah, he's looking really solid. And also in the background, there's Finian D'Acuna up to 9th. In a slow charge tonight, 18th up to 9th, but moving forward nonetheless. And another one of the drivers that typically has just sort of gotten, especially in the early part of the season, Connor, just gotten really good results after mediocre days.
Yeah, he's a guy who will. He's a guy who always, on the racetrack, he is able to persevere and keep his car as clean as possible. When everyone else is destroying theirs, he keeps it in one piece, and that's how he's gotten a decent amount of the finishes he's gotten so far this year. Unfortunately, he had to pull out of a fuel finals. He was definitely going to be a contender for a really strong points finish, but either way, it's still been a really good season. I'm not even going to lie. I didn't expect this from Finian, especially on the ovals. I thought he'd struggle, but he's done a really good job.
Tom Bourne on pit lane. Is this damage new for the 84?
I don't think it's too new. He hit the wall earlier in the race.
It's on pit lane here with, what, 50 laps to go? So is that...
Could be scheduled. I think you can make it from here, so it could be scheduled. He was I think he was in 17th when he did.
So we're trying to extend that last run as much as possible and just get back out on the racetrack.
He's getting tires, but he's also out of a car. Also, Boomer Logan's actually pulling out and getting back on track. So he repaired his engine. He's going to finish this one on the racetrack.
Yeah, we'll see how much is left in that number 85, but props to him for getting back out there with a car that is a little worse for wear.
I think Tom Bourne might be calling it a night, still not in the car. As Will Roberts, I can imagine he's calling it a night. He's just going to take his pit stop from 16.
So Alan Elwood, after starting in first and leading a handful of laps earlier tonight, 32 to be exact, a little bit of damage after a run-in with the 24 and now falling down to 8th and just struggling to move back forward, and this is not looking great. Again, he needed max points tonight, and he's not really in a position to keep getting more.
Yeah, he would need a yellow to get back to the lead and lead more laps, because I believe Cameron Hurd by a decent amount has the most laps led right now, as he's actually pulled away a second in front of Michael Stroll. So it's unofficially, by my count, I could be wrong, but I feel like Bresci already has this locked up, but even if it wasn't, he needs the win and get max points, and he's not even close to doing that right now. I think he's about over 5 seconds off of Cameron Hearn. Hearn just passed him for most laps, so it's not looking good.
Yeah, 35 laps led for Cameron Hearn and counting, as we are now under 50 laps to go. And you can easily make it from here on fuel. I'm waiting to see a couple more drivers hit pit lane, but no one biting early here. And it would be interesting to see a driver try that. Again, the lap time drop-off is about 2 seconds from the best lap of the race that these guys ran earlier in the night. So you would gain 2 seconds a lap if you were to come to pit lane early, but no one's bitten that bait just yet.
If it was Elwood, I would do it. It's someone get in the wall in front of him? No, it was a glitch. Yeah, if I was Elwood, I would do it, because you kind of got nothing to lose now. It's likely over. Your only shot is max points, and you need to lead a lot of laps. And the best way you can get back to the lead, he's not going to get back to the lead hitting the same lap as Cameron Hearn. He has to pit 5 laps or so earlier, as someone came to pit road. It was Brad Slaughter Jr., so he comes to pit road. But the 5 needs to pit, try to get to the lead. If he can catch a yellow, that's great, because that would be his only shot if he can get some sort of big break to happen.
Vinny DeCuna going a long way around Braxton DeWeese. That is now for 8th place with the 81 pulling off the racetrack. Down to the last 25 minutes of racing and fuel here on SYM TV. Again, make sure that you're following Fuel Racing League on Twitter to find out more information on the future of the series and what is in store. Some big announcements coming up in the coming days. Make sure, again, you follow them. Brad Slaughter is out back on the racetrack after his pit stop, nice and clean for the 81.
At the time.
Oh, and I said that he's going to loop it almost at the exit of turn 1.
Wow. Oh my goodness. He's got damage. He hit the wall at some point or something. That was almost a big mistake. It actually wasn't a big mistake. He's going to lose a lot of time he would have gained.
Yeah, that was all the time that he would have gained. He's probably just given right back up doing the slip and slide out of turn 4. I kind of hope that the rest of the field stays out a little longer so we can let those tires do their work and do their job.
I actually see why he pit now. He pit immediately. He hit the wall hard out of turn number 2, so I wasn't seeing sparks. It was actually someone hit the wall, and it was Slaughter, so that's why he pit.
Maybe trying to cover up any damages that he had gotten. DeCuna's past DeWeese now.
Sorry, I thought you were going to say something else. He is past DeWeese. He's still motoring. Finian's done such a great job getting through the field as the leaders stay out. I've been looking at the times. Hearn ran a flat that time, but Bresci and Nick Massey have been faster than the top 2 the last few laps. This time by Bresci faster than Massey, and Hearn was actually faster than all of them that time, as Stroll's starting to fall off. now 1.2 seconds. Those third and fourth, Massey, I think, saved his tires the best, so he could be a threat by the race end.
Aiden Pistorius has a couple cars tucked in behind him, Alan Elwood and Chad Simpson. And as the laps tick down, the opportunity to pull an undercut sort of starts to go away. Everyone's looking like they're just going to try to run this tank out of fuel, then come on down. Nakuna is going to hit pit lane in the 94, and so does the 42 of Chad Simpson.
Finian also has hit the wall. A lot of more drivers trying to get to the limit of how far they can, run close to the wall. Finian's hit that limit. I think Chad Simpson's car is still clean. Danny Ware's hit the wall. A lot more drivers trying to push it here as it looks like Boomer Logan actually pulled it in again.
So Cameron Hearn clear and free out front, and his story of this season, Connor, he has not really been around all that much, but when he has been here, he's been awful good.
Elwood comes to pit lane to try the undercut, but yeah, Cameron Hearn, when he raced, he was fast. He was battling for wins. As I said at the beginning of the broadcast, his last race, he led 99 laps, led the most laps at Rockingham earlier this season, just for the future championship contender Alan Elwood to take his first win of the season in pretty stunning fashion. And then he maybe he was a bit upset with that result, didn't race until now, and he's showing why he would have been a championship contender if he raced the full-time season. He looked sharp tonight. I think he's been the fastest car all night.
Well, he can't go back and change what you didn't run, but Alan Elwood needed a little bit better luck tonight, a bit more pace. Back out on the racetrack, a nice, that pit stop actually was a little bit slow, 14.8. As Hayden Pistorius also comes on down pit lane in the number 9, and Tyler Hensley, and now this is going to probably start a rush of the next 3 or 4 laps of cars hitting pit road, and this is good to the end. You don't need to pit any more times. If you get a late race caution, you'll probably come down, but otherwise, this is your last trip to pit lane.
Yeah, if there's not a yellow, it's all she wrote. This will be it for the pit stops. Top 4 stay out. Gervin pits from whatever position he was in. Slaughter Jr. still trying to gain time. Everyone else going to stay out this lap, though. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of time Elwood can gain.
So Elwood is back out on the racetrack. We'll see what lap times he can run. There's the 44 coming back out right behind him. We'll see if Elwood can stay on the racetrack long enough for us to actually get a lap time recorded for him. Blinking in and out makes that challenging to record.
Trying to look at the people who are off track. Filarski just left again. Boomer Logan's off track. AJ Roderick, Thompson. Tom Bourne is out of his car now, and so is Danny Ware. That only leaves 15 cars running at this point now. Stroll swerving down the backstretch. Looks like he might be telling the guys behind him that he's coming down the pit road, trying to do the undercut on Hearn. If he undercuts him by a lap, he could get the lead. Here he comes.
Yep, he's going to beat the 15 down to pit lane. And a fairly aggressive entry. Again, this is one of the more challenging pit roads to enter. So Michael Stroll is on down. We'll see if Cameron Hearn responds or if he'll commit to staying on the full overcut here.
Depends how much longer you want to go on fuel. You're only going to have only about 35 laps to go now. I think you got to react now, or else this 8's going to run away with the win, because he beat him on. He was pretty good with the 15 on speed, as Hearn's going to immediately react like I thought he would, as Bressy's going to be the one to stay out. Nick Massey comes down immediately.
A little bit more aggressive pit entry for the 15 than it was for the driver that was chasing him, Michael Stroll, who was off a 14.5-second pit stop. Not bad. Nick Massey is on down, as you mentioned, in the number 20. So a handful of drivers still yet to pit, mostly inside the top 5. Bressy now going to peel off, and he'll hit pit lane.
Chad Simpson gets his lap back. He undercut almost everyone. Trying to look at the leaders. Michael Stroll trying to see if he had a gap to Cameron Hearn, or did he get out behind Cameron Hearn? No, Hearn's coming out now, and Stroll's just getting out of a trioval. Like, this is going to be close.
Stroll should be coming in the background of this shot. There he is.
I think he's got him. Hearn's almost going to spin off of pit road. Stroll's got the lead.
And there is the pass to the lead, or what will cycle to be the lead. Stroll will be it, and Tyler Hensley will also have position. But again, he's got 3-lap older tires than the 8 car, so will likely go backwards a little bit quicker. Bressy leaving the pit box as well.
Ruiz, he was the leader. He'll come down to pit lane. Ooh, he almost spun it. He did a great save there.
So Stroll should cycle. Now the question remains, where is the 5 in relation to the 24? And the answer to that question is the 5 is ahead.
By about, I think it's about 2.5 seconds, so not a bad gap. He didn't undercut him by too much, so 35 laps to go. That was work cut out for him, but he has the advantage for now at least.
Well, again, if we get a caution in the next 10 or 15 laps, that would bode very, very well for the 5.
Another thing, he also has people ahead of him that undercut. Even with Brad Slaughter Jr. slide, he's still ahead of everyone, I believe. Chad Simpson undercut as well. He's 3rd. I think they have one more person staying out. It was DeWeese, who's coming out of pit road now. Is DeWeese going to come out of pit road first? He couldn't have taken 2 tires, did he? No. He's not going to be the leader, obviously. Sorry.
Yeah, everybody has taken 4 tires on this most recent stop. Denny Ware has been in pit lane for a handful of laps, and as you mentioned, only 15 cars remain. And here's Chad Simpson on Brad Slaughter. Everyone's made their final pit stop, so this is a battle for the lead, and the 42 will take it. But again, this is all going to be fairly short-lived with these drivers on much older tires than those a little bit deeper in the field.
Slaughter Jr. obviously has damage, and he came in way earlier, so we'll see where he can hold on, what he can hold on to. Simpson a 31.79 last time by. Elwood was faster with a 31.68. Aiden Pastorius behind him faster with a 31.70, and he's right in front of Michael Stroll and Cameron Hearn, who are right next to each other for probably the effective win.
Here comes Cameron Hearn on the outside of the number 8. This is a battle for 6th and ultimately should be the lead. And through goes the 15. He's got it, takes it away from the 8. Slots Stroll back into 7th.
I did not expect Hearn to get to him that quickly. It was only a lap difference for the tires, but the 15 made it look like it was 10 laps. That was a very quick pass.
And past Finney and DeCuna, who will drop to 6th and then likely to 7th as the 8 car goes by. And for 2nd place, here's Elwood and Slaughter.
Elwood's likely going to try to blow by him. He needs to make these passes extremely quick as he's going to space himself away, get some air between the 2 cars, and he'll get up to 2nd. Now he has about a second himself to get to Chad Simpson for the what would be a temporary lead, I would say. And then he's got Aiden Pastorius catching up to him, and then Cameron Hearn catching everyone as here comes Hearn under Pastorius.
30 laps to go this time through, about 15 minutes of racing remaining. It's going to be a very wild 15 minutes with this green flag pit stop sort of changing the way things are happening. But Cameron Hearn last time by was 0.7 of a second faster than Elwood. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion, unless there's a caution.
Yeah, and this Chad Simpson's even slower than everyone, so it's becoming a dire situation for Elwood. Obviously, Bressy's likely has it, but he still has a chance at max points. Well, actually, no, he doesn't because he didn't get the 10 most points. But still has a chance at a lot of points. He could still get this win and then on a high note. But he just, even without the damage, he hasn't had the pace tonight. It's not a situation we've ever seen him in. We've never seen him have to do an undercut because he's always the leader. So it's just unfortunate how this has played out for him. But his time is definitely running out for yellow.
Ooh, the 9 kind of hip checks the 8 of Stroll, just a touch down the back straightaway, but cannot respond to anything that the 15 car is doing. He is gone. Hearn closes in on Elwood as the laps tick down here at Chicagoland.
Yeah, see, the time before this, he was 10th faster than Cameron Hearn. I just thought he'd gain more on pit entry because they pit, I believe, on the similar lap, but he just didn't gain the time I thought he would. That time by he was pretty much ran the same time, and here will be the pass likely for the lead. Actually, no, not yet, but Chad Simpson's still the leader, but this will be a big pass.
Hearn down to the inside, and it makes easy work of Alan Elwood and through into 2nd. Now sets his sights on the driver 7/10 up the road. That's Chad Simpson. And now 27 laps to go.
The race through traffic here. Nick Massey's making quick work of guys. I think he can still challenge Cameron Hearn for the win in these last just under 20 laps, I believe. So actually just under 30 laps to go. I think Massey can still get there, but he has to hustle it because this 15 is going to get the clean air and he is going to drive away.
Yeah, he's got to pretty much just pass all these guys on the same tires that Elwood has, or excuse me, that Hearn has. So I don't think it's going to work out that he'll run up there and chase down Cameron Hearn as he continues to put drivers behind him and now has the clean air and the race lead to move Cameron Hearn back to the top spot. And after leading 47 laps earlier this race, he's going to lead a 48th next time they come around.
He's going to have a really good shot at winning this race. 8 of Stroll, I thought he had the pace to stay with Hearn, maybe stay in front of him. Actually ran faster last time by passing the 5 of Elwood, but it just doesn't look like he has the grip out of the corners to really match any pace Cameron Hearn has, as another person on the newest tires trying to charge through the field. Thomas Bresci, who pretty much did the overcut, trying something different. He is only up to about the 8th position. He is a ways back. I think he's about, trying to see, about 4 seconds back of Hearn.
Michael Stroll going for second on Chad Simpson, and he'll grab that spot. Where is Thomas Bresci back in 7th and maintaining right now, and probably will be actually coming forward a little bit more. But he is in position where if he can finish the next 20 or so laps, he will win the 2021A Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series Championship. He's been trying to do this for season after season after season, and finally he's found the success to put himself in position. Didn't win the most races, but he had more consistency than Elwood, and that's putting him in position to win this championship after trying so many times.
We've seen it time and time again in real life, and we've seen it in fuel. It doesn't matter if you win so many races in the regular season. If you have one problem in the fuel finals, you have almost no time to recover. And he had one problem at Dover, he had another problem at Martinsville, and Elwood just couldn't recover. The gap was too steep. Same thing for Terry, and the gap was a bit too steep even if he showed up tonight. And Bresci did what he needed to do. He had a bit of dust ups here and there, but he overall had a clean race, and he's put himself in a position to finally become a champion.
Here's Nick Massey in the 20 on Chad Simpson. That's for third. How about the 20 of Massey having a really strong night? For some reason, I've never seen this happen before. He has no data to show me where he started, but it has been a really solid climb for the 20, and is in position to grab a podium here in the last race of the season and could catch Michael Stroll in the 8 car. And as you mentioned a little while ago, Connor, he has the chance to win this race. I didn't think he had the pace to do it, but he's certainly looking pretty strong right now.
Slower by 2/10 after passing Chad Simpson last time by, but he's definitely been one of the faster cars all night. Just hasn't been up front to show it. He actually started 4th, but we saw he immediately went to the back on the start, maybe to try a tire strategy. That didn't work. So he's made his way all the way from about, I would say, the 18th position, all the way up to 3rd under green flag conditions, and he is flying right now. He's only got about, next time by will be 20 to go. That time by he ran a 3.35. The leader was faster by about 7/100ths.
So Cameron Hearn coming to 20 laps to go here at Chicago. It's been a pretty tame race, other than the 2 cautions that we had earlier in the night. Since then, it's been all clean and green. And the championship battle was mostly decided at Martinsville with Shane Terrian not being able to make it this week and Alan Elwood not really performing last week. That is what has changed this around, and now Thomas Bresci is going to seal the deal when he passes this 5 car. There is no mathematical way that Alan Elwood can win this championship, especially when the 24 passes him on the racetrack, and that's about to happen right here.
He's going to block him, though. He's going to give him all his worth. They had the dust up earlier. He won't let you by easy. He's still probably not happy about what happened earlier. Bresci, the best thing he can do, he's just got to stay calm. Do not push the issue even though he's blocking you. Do not get yourself in a fight. He's going to hit Elwood again, though.
Now side by side on the front straightaway. The 5 going to come back up the racetrack, re-clear the 24. This is not a fight that the 24 needs to fight, but he's going to turn him.
Wow.
Well, job complete. He did it.
That's Alan Elwood says over the radio, he says noted. So
well, unfortunately for Elwood, I'm not sure that he's got the pace to get back to him. And I'm not sure that even if he wrecked him straight off into the fence right now, it would do him much good, unfortunately.
No, it's they could have done that earlier. I can't imagine the 5's going to be happy about that, but you know, it is what it is. They're arguing in the chat right now. They're not happy with each other.
It was already over, I think, and for Elwood, I think there's some more frustration, and the 24 has sort of been racing a little bit over-aggressive tonight, but the math is the math, and no matter what the 24 does, the 5 or vice versa, this all played out in races before this one, I think.
I mean, it's definitely aggression. It's definitely frustration reaching a boiling point. You know, Elwood had what you could say the perfect regular season. Almost won every single race. He won at every single racetrack possible, just about. And he was definitely the dominant force. And then race 1 in the fuel finals, boom, wrecks at Dover, bad finish. And he could never recover the points lead. And after he didn't race Martinsville, it was pretty much decided. So he's definitely, with the season he had, there's no doubt he's frustrated about it already. And this is just his anger kind of being taken out. what's happening today. So it's definitely, hopefully he'll race in the next fuel season, because he can no doubt run away with the championship next season, but it's just, it wasn't meant to be, obviously, this season.
You can win every race you want, but if you don't perform in the last couple, it doesn't matter. And for the 5 of Alan Elwood, I think what the biggest thing he learned this season is that it's not about the number in the wins column. While that's nice, it's about the consistency that comes with it.
Yeah, like you said, you can win any race you want. If you're not consistent when it matters, you're not going to win a championship. It's just what these formats ask of drivers. You have to be perfect the entire season, not just one race. Well, not just one race win, and then the next time you finish last, that's not going to win championships. And, you know, Elwood, he's been so consistently good in the regular season, but you have to, like I keep saying, you have to perform in those finals, or else you're not going to have a chance. And hopefully, like we said, if he does race next season, he can right that wrong. But it just was not in the cards for him ever since the wreck at Dover.
That was really where the turning point in the season was for me, Connor, was that crash at Dover. Really sort of started changing the tide in the championship, and it just never swung back the other way.
Yeah, it was probably a bit of a blow to him. It probably put him off his game mentally even. You know, you were perfect all season long, and then the first mistake all season. That's really the first mistake all season that he's made. It wasn't even a mistake. It wasn't his fault. A driver spun in front of him and he couldn't avoid him. It wasn't even a mistake on his part. It was just something that, you know, altered his race, and he probably saw it. Maybe he took it a bit too hard. He was like, this can't be happening, even though he still had time to recover, but he could have just been taking it too hard, and maybe it got in his head too much. But it just wasn't really in the cards for him. As I keep saying that, it just, something like that can put you off your game so easily, you don't even know it.
For second, Nick Massey has caught Michael Stroll. The battle is on between these two.
Yeah, Massey needs to pass him as soon as possible, but he hasn't been able to do it. And last time by, he was actually faster. Both drivers faster than the leader. They caught up a little bit last time by, but still 2 seconds up the road is Cameron Hearn, coming, I believe, to 12 laps to go this time. Massey's got to go now, or he's not going to have any reason to go at all.
Well, he was running a lot quicker when he wasn't fighting drivers, so if he can get by the 8 car, it's not unheard of for him to get there. And you see the 8 car go high, the 20 is going to go low. But he's got to get this pass done quickly, and based on how similar the two are on pace, I just don't see that happening the way that Massey needs it to happen.
Yeah, I just don't know. The dirty air can affect these Xfinity cars, so that could definitely be playing a part in it. Fitting hit the wall at a 4, but he continues. The Casey Shoes running the wall, that's an interesting line. It's just so hard to make a pass. You can catch someone so easily. We say it pretty much every race. Catching him is one thing, passing is another. He caught Michael Stroll by a ways back, but that dirty air is just playing into the 8's favor right now.
20 to the bottom of Michael Stroll, trying to get some overlap on him, but unsuccessful thus far. And this time through for Cameron Hearn, 10 laps to go. And he, again, we've noted the absence, but man, he has been absolutely dominant tonight and hasn't looked back.
Like I said, he was faster than the 5 all race long, and he was just staying behind and biding his time, waiting for the tires to come up the temperature. And when he was content with how much he saved, he was ready to go and pull away. Stroll gave him a challenge for a while, but just couldn't have the long run pace of the 15 of Cameron Hearn. It's been a dominant night.
Thomas Bresci documented his climb with his big overcut that he was attempting to do. He's up to 5th and has the opportunity to get 4th place away from Chad Simpson, who's stuck behind some traffic right now. It's the 33 of Gervin, who is scored 1 lap down in 14th. Bresci could finish 4th, and typically in the championship formats we see here on SYM TV, if you're the champion, you probably also won the race. Tonight, though, Bresci doesn't have to, and it doesn't look like he will.
It didn't happen last year either. Terrian finished 2nd to Licata's last year. Another year where Hearn still got speed, but he'll definitely still be a surprise winner. A guy who hasn't made a start in a few months in this series is going to be able to pull off a win in the finale and beat the champion and a bunch of other contenders. It's definitely still a surprising victory, no doubt, 2 years in a row.
Bresci closing in on 4th place. I remember back in the early fuel seasons when Thomas Bresci came on over from the Hardline Racing League way back in the day. Came on over and just struggled with longevity and winning races and got close, and so many times before he actually finally got one. And then it just seemed like the wins came now and then. He was never really a driver that would rack him up massively in that column, but the consistency came as the seasons went on. Now it's finally played into his favor. And his long run pace is also massively improved. And I don't know how much the changes to the cars help that, or if it's been something else behind the scenes, but it certainly isn't hurting him anymore. He's gotten better as years have gone on.
Well, he's been running this league with these cars for a while now. You said it. He struggled so hard with just finishing the races. He had the short run pace to compete, but he just could not win with long run races. If a race went green, he just could not stay up front. It took him a while. He was always the ace at the road courses partially. Won his first race in the Cup cars at Watkins Glen, and it took him a while. He was really never able to win on the ovals. He had so many people to compete with. He finally beat a bunch of competitors at Charlotte and a thriller at Charlotte a few seasons ago. Finally got his first oval win, and even this season, he wasn't winning all the races. His first win was at Talladega. If I remember correctly, it might even be his only win. I don't remember off the top of my head, but he won Dega, and that's where it started for him. He wasn't running the best, but when he won Dega, he just started racking off the good finishes, top fives here and there, and that consistency that showed up out of nowhere, that's where he started getting into the championship fight. Not to mention how much he's worked on his skill to be better as a long run driver to save those tires. He's worked so hard to get the driver he is now.
And passes Chad Simpson for 4th, so moves up another spot. Simpson's going to try to get this back, but I think the writing's on the wall. It's a 7-lap difference in tires, so even a momentary fight is probably not going to phase this 24. That was a little dicey going off into the corner. But 5 laps to go for the race leader, Cameron Hearn, and it's 2 seconds back to Michael Stroll and Nick Massey. Still discussing second place, but Hearn is looking really, really solid now. 4 laps to go.
Drivers behind him, they were getting a few hundredths, maybe a tenth here or there, but that gap has pretty much stayed the same. Stroll stayed about 1.92 seconds behind. Nick Massey started to fall off the aid of Michael Stroll. Stroll gains a little bit, obviously not enough, as those two just kind of stalled out racing each other, as Bresci still holds on the 4th, as Tyler Hensley's 6th. I didn't really mention him too much, but he kind of got some damage earlier, and he's been able to put together a really good pit strategy. He's holding on to 6th.
Yeah, Finney Nakuna falling back down the order just a little bit, just outside of the top 10. His teammate Casey Lakatos running inside the top 10. Brad Slaughter Jr. just ahead of both of them.
A good recovery for Slaughter. He hit the wall after he hit super early. He's still able to, probably could have finished much better if he didn't hit the wall. I think he was top 5, but holding on to a top 10 won't be the worst thing if he's able to do that.
Yeah, and this is another one of those nights that I think Brad had a lot more pace than where he's running, which is typically kind of been the season, unfortunately, for Brad Slaughter. Just always qualifies inside the top 5 or top 6 and then ends up finishing, 8th through 13th. It's just a real shame because he's got the pace to do much better than that, but the circumstances haven't let that happen for the 81, at least not recently.
Especially in the chase. He's had so many good qualifying efforts in the Fuel Finals so far. He's had top 5 runs for sure, definitely top 10 runs, but like you said, as he's in the wall again in turns 3 and 4, he just hasn't had the consistency, whether it's because of his own pace or just something that he couldn't control. He hasn't been able to get the finishes he deserved, as Lakatos has it run on him, but it's still been a really good end of a season. Average, the way he's ran, it's still been very inspiring.
Well, Cameron Hearn comes out of turn 4, and this time through he will see the white flag. Now in racing, the white flag signifies the final lap. In war, it signifies a surrender, Connor, and for one driver this season, he refused to surrender. And while so many times this season it was the 5 of Alan Elwood that would seemingly win each battle, tonight it's going to be the number 24 and Thomas Bresci with the Rainbow Warrior paint scheme from his favorite driver, Jeff Gordon. Tonight is the night that Thomas Bresci will finally break through. He will win not only the battle tonight, but also the war. Thomas Bresci comes out of turn number 4 for the first time ever in his Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series career. He will win the championship in the 2021A Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series season. Thomas Bresci is your champion, following Cameron Hearn, the race winner, in the number 15. And that's just perseverance and effort and practice on display here.
So much practice. He's worked so hard getting to where he is now as a driver, like we talked about. So many seasons, at least I would, if I had to guess, about 5 seasons in this Premier Series, he has been a championship competitor and just has not been able to seal the deal. He was so close last season, but couldn't chase down Shane Tarian. And it looked like a very big mountain to climb to beat the 5 of Alan Elwood, who was winning week in, week out. But he was able to persevere, get consistent when it mattered most, and now he's finally a Fuel champion.
Well, Cameron Hearn won this race, and not to overshadow the victory, Bressi doing burnouts at the start-finish line, not for the race win, but for the championship. Everyone knows that sometimes you have to play a certain strategy, and that strategy might not always involve winning the race. Some congratulatory bumps from his teammate in the number 4, Casey Shu. But Bressi's championship tonight is going to mean a whole lot to him, I can tell you that. We're going to talk to the runner-up tonight in the championship. Alan Elwood won so many races this season, Alan, but it wasn't meant to be. You come home second to the championship, 8th in the race. Some frustrations tonight. Take us through not only your season, but the race, and what could have gone differently to get you this championship.
I don't really want to talk about today. I'll talk about the rest of the season. The rest of the season was fantastic. I had to step away last week. I had prior commitments from before the season even started to go spend some time with my wife and some family at a hockey game. So that's where I was last week. Pretty much took me out of contention, so that was kind of a bummer. But happy wife, happy life. So, but overall, no, just a good season. Couldn't ask for really anything better other than the championship, but that wasn't meant to be. But more importantly, super stoked for what's coming tomorrow. I can't thank you guys enough, SYM TV, for all you've done for Fuel. I know I've only been here for a season, but can't thank you guys enough. And just like I said, I'm super stoked for what's coming tomorrow. We got huge news for Fuel, so it's going to be a bright future for the league, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
Well, Alan Elwood not looking back, but looking forward. Congratulations on a strong run of the championship regardless. We wish you guys the best of luck, and we'll be watching from the sidelines. Alan, thanks so much for your time and effort, and we'll see you guys from the grandstands next season. Thanks for chatting.
Thank you, guys.
Move on now to our runner-up in the race. Well, we got two of them to talk to. Let's talk with Nick Massey first. Finished 3rd place tonight, just behind Michael Stroll. Nick, a strong run tonight. Take us through your battle. You dropped back early, then fought your way back forward. Almost finished 2nd, but 3rd place, got to be pretty happy with that.
Yeah, I started off on the wrong foot. I kind of missed the grid. I wasn't paying attention and had to start in the pits. But yeah, I was able to catch some cautions there and drive through the field. I thought I might have had something for Cameron there at the end. I think that run on long tires, I was reeling them in slowly. So I thought I was going to just do the same thing right there, but as soon as I got to Stroll there, I just kind of stalled out. I don't know if it was dirty air or if I just burned them up, but congrats to Cameron up there for sure.
Well, Nick, it was a really strong race for you tonight. What's the plan for next season? Is it a full-time effort? And do you think you have what it takes to go run for a championship next time around?
Yeah, I wasn't able to make all the races this season, so I'm hoping to do the full-time schedule next year and hopefully give Bressi and Shane and those guys a run for the championship.
Well, certainly in a position to do it, at least at the pace we saw tonight. Nick, congratulations. We'll see you around next season from the sidelines. Appreciate your time. Thanks for talking. We'll see you later.
Yeah, guys, and good luck on your future endeavors. Thanks for doing all the broadcasting for us.
Thanks, Nick. Appreciate it. We'll have a lot of fun. We'll see you. Talking now with our 2nd place finisher in the race tonight. It was Michael Stroll in the number 8 car. And, runner-up again tonight, Michael. 2nd place, about 2 seconds behind Cameron Hurd. What did you need to go up there and run him down?
First of all, not kiss the wall. Once I kissed the wall before he hit it, it kind of changed the aliens so slightly. I tried to undercut him a little bit, but came in a bit. So I started the season off in Daytona, finished 2nd. I finished the finale in 2nd. I think I finished 2nd points. I wish I could have won for you, in front on your broadcast, but it's not going to happen. You guys do a great job. Really going to miss you. Good luck with your future endeavors and whatever else you got going on. But I'm going to get one of these one day, and I'm usually excited, and I'm disappointed in 2nd. I'm tired of it. Yeah.
Well, trust me, when you get that win, Michael, we'll be there cheering for you in the grandstands. Thanks so much for talking to us. 2nd place tonight, but a strong run. We'll see you next season.
Later, bud.
Moving on now to our race winner. It's Cameron Hearn. We don't have a round, so what we're going to do is we're going to talk to our season champion after we talk to, we did already talk to Alan Elwood. We're going to talk to Thomas Bressi, our season champion. Got it done. We were saying, Thomas, that it seemed like this season the 5 won all the battles, but the Rainbow Warrior won the war. Take us through your season and the race tonight. 4th place is all you needed. You got it done.
Yeah, it was an interesting night. I was just talking to Alan and just kind of going over how the race went because, we got a little physical at a couple points, but just, I chalked it up to hard racing, at least on my end. I get, he was kind of in a pretty dire situation going into the night, so he was racing hard, and especially coming to halfway, I kind of saw that as a chance to kind of lock things up at that point. So I was pushing pretty hard there, and yeah, it was just I don't know. I'm looking forward to next season. I'm wishing that maybe Alan didn't have to miss last week, because I think it honestly would have been a really good fight through this week. I think maybe I still could have gotten him. It would have been closer for sure, but yeah, it was a good season. Obviously, would have liked to have won some more races, finishing second 4 times in a row coming into tonight. But yeah, good season. Excited for next season. There's so much planned. I know that Alan and Michael and Will and the admin team have been working their tails off, kind of prepping to make next season a huge one. So I'm excited for what they've got planned, and of course, got to thank you guys for, it's been years. Might be one of the last times, at least, I'm on an oval on SYM TV, but obviously I'll still be doing the Spec MX5 stuff tomorrow night. So we'll miss having you guys around. You guys are always, do a top-notch job, and, we're going to miss that. But good way to end the season, for sure.
Well, a strong way to end the season is with a championship. Thomas will hopefully be around at least as a spectator in the future to watch you in the future. Thanks so much for talking to us. Enjoy that championship, and we'll see you next time.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot.
We're going to talk with one more driver and one more series owner before we end tonight. It's going to be Will Roberts, owner of and founder of the Fuel Racing League. Will, it's been quite the ride, a handful of years. You were the second group we ever worked with, maybe second or third that we ever worked with on SYM TV, and it's been about 3 years now, and all good things must come to an end, at least for the time being. Again, who knows what 2022 and beyond hold, but for the time being, it is the end of the line. Final thoughts. It's been a hell of a ride. We want to give you a huge thank you for bringing us on board and being a part of what made us who we are.
Kyle, I'm sad. Y'all have been the best partner we could have asked for as we have come through the last three or so years. I am so grateful for everything y'all have done, everything y'all have brought to the table, and just everything. And I was thinking about it in the waiting room, like this should be the moment where I bring out something, and I kind of feel bad that I didn't think about that until like 3 minutes ago.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it's been quite the ride from back in the ISDC days to the beginning of Fuel, the Cup Series, and the transition to the Xfinity Series. Dozens and dozens of races over 3 consecutive years. Been a highlight of my Tuesday nights, that's for sure. Been my life, quite literally, and this has basically launched my career. And right after the conclusion of the stream, in the next 3 minutes, I am shutting down my computer, getting in a car, and driving to a racetrack in the middle of the night because I've got a Grid Life event to go do tomorrow, and that's my job now. And if I can only thank Fuel as part of that process and getting me to where I am. I just spent my weekend at COTA calling for World Challenge, my first sort of quote-unquote TV broadcast for the Skip Barber Race Series. I am living a dream. It's all thanks to you guys, and it means a lot to have worked for you guys, and it's not completely over. There's still a chance that we'll be back at some point in the future, but for the time being, it's the end. So thank you again for all your time and your effort put into the series.
Certainly, and I know you're coming to VIR here in about a month's time, so I won't be there, and I'm gonna figure something out.
All right, well, again, thank you so much. We'll be still floating around and maybe a participant in the future, but again, big thank you, and that's going to wrap it up tonight.
Seriously, thank you so much for the last 3 years, and we're so happy to see where you guys have gone from where it started to where it's at now.
Well, thanks, Will. We'll call it here. I appreciate your time, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Connor, that's going to wrap it up. 3 years of broadcasting down the line, and all good things must come to an end, at least momentarily. Thanks for your help on this series, and you sort of came on this season as the color commentary. You've done a spectacular job, and your final thoughts on Fuel here before we sign off.
One of the most exhilarating leagues to call. There's drama at every corner. There's hard side-by-side beating and banging racing sometimes. A lot of green flag racing as well, which you don't see in a lot of oval leagues. A lot of respectful racing. Had their spats here and there. But it's been so fun watching all the drivers we've seen come to fruition. We've seen Shane Terry and his rise. Obviously, guys like Nick Massey, Michael Stroll is a consistent driver. We'll see him for years to come, hopefully, in fuel. Obviously, Alan Elwood's got a bright future of how many races he won. I think Anthony DeBarro, back-to-back champion, the only one. And obviously the man of the hour, Thomas Bresci, he did such a great job finally winning that championship. It could be many more in fuel to come. And for the broadcasting thing as a whole, I don't know. Maybe my last one with you. Maybe I do another. Who knows? But
you'll be around. You'll be around. I promise.
I'll be available, no doubt. But it's so much that I've loved doing every single broadcast. I have a whole list on YouTube, a whole playlist. I watch them every now and then to see how far I've come as a commentator and how much fun I've had with Finian and with you and with the broadcast I did with Andrew Cardinale. It's just been so much fun being able to do something that I have grown to have a passion for. I've wanted to be a driver my entire life, but broadcasting is something I've started to really love the more I do it, and it's because of you I've had the opportunity to do these races side by side with you. So I've loved every second of every race I've ever broadcasted. Even if it goes green with no passing, it's still a blast watching a race with you and calling it with you and having jokes and jabs at each other every now and then. It's been a blast from Fuel, from ORL, and all the other leagues I've done with you at Finian. It's just been a blast, and I can't thank you enough for giving me the opportunity to do something that I've absolutely learned to love.
Well, it's finally time to sign off for the night. For the last time, SYM TV signing off from the Fuel Mission 22 Premier Series. We'll be back tomorrow night with Spec MX5 Sim Racing Challenge action on the Winding Road Racing or Winding Road Magazine YouTube channel. We'll see you there, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. Thanks so much for everyone for the entire duration of our stay here at Fuel. We appreciate your viewership and your time. Thanks so much. We'll see you.